Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel. Now, as an early birthday present to myself, my birthday's tomorrow, I decided to pick up something big from my local game store on Saturday. The original game I had, the original thing I was going to pick up was Return to Dark Tower by Restoration Games, and actually there's something else I need for this delivery or this video, so I'll be right back while I grab that. As I was saying, I was originally planning to pick up Return to Dark Tower from Restoration Games on Saturday. When I got in and I started looking around, I was looking at Return to Dark Tower, then behind it, I started seeing something else that caught my eye, and I was like, ooh, what's this? I went around to look at it, and it was the Final Girls Season 3, Series 3 Ultimate Box. So I looked at it, and I was like, oh, this looks really interesting. So I threw it into my ChatGPT engine. I've talked a little bit about that, where I've trained up an engine on my board games based on games I've played and how I've reacted to them. So I threw it in my ChatGPT engine. I'm like, which one do you think I'd be happier with? Return to Dark Tower or Final Girls Season 3 Ultimate Box? And it decided Final Girls Season 3 would probably be the thing I'd be happier with. And after doing a little bit of research on Return to Dark Tower, I figured out that, you know what? I think I'm going to go with Final Girl instead, the Final Girl Season 3 Ultimate Box instead. And the reason I decided to do that is because I figured it would give me a lot more content for a game I know I like. Plus, the more I started researching Return to Dark Tower, the more I realized that, you know what, yeah, the tower looks really cool for Return to Dark Tower, but the problem is it's going to be in the way of everything. So if I'm going to try to make that as content, as a video at some point, the tower is just going to be in the way of everything, so I'm going to lose sight to whatever the tower is behind, and that'll make filming difficult. So I decided to grab this instead, figuring I'll be a lot happier with this. Anyway, Final Girl, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, is by Van Ryder Games, and it puts you in the, what's the word I want here? It puts you in the driver's seat of a Final Girl, essentially, going into your own slasher flick. You do need the core box to play Final Girl, which I do have the core box hiding over here somewhere. I'm just going to see if I can fish it out here. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've got like I said, I've got the core box hiding in over on my bookshelf, so I do have that. As Dave's Board Gaming is first to join us, and thanks for the happy birthday wishes, by the way. Before we crack this all open, holy crap, this is heavy. But let's take a look at what's all in here. Final Girls Series 3. Even more horror awaits. This massive box contains the special FX crate, guest stars, and the Series 3 collection of feature film boxes for the critically acclaimed solo game Final Girl. Also included inside are the miniatures and bonus content for Series 3, such as the lore and scenario and gruesome death books. And the box of props. I will have to try to track that down at some point. Included is a storage box that holds all the products for Series 3, and then a list of products. We've got the feature films, The Killer from Tomorrow. Well, we're not going to spoil what the feature films are. What we are going to do, though, is we're going to cut the plastic wrap off, and we're going to get inside this box. Fortunately, there's a really nice access point right here that we're going to use, so I'm going to pull my X-Acto knife open, and we'll slice that open. And let's see what we've got here. Looks like we've got the... And thanks also for the birthday wishes as well, Viper Dave. That's actually tomorrow. Hopefully you guys will stop by again tomorrow for tomorrow's actual birthday stream. And here's a preview of what's all inside the Final Girls Series 3 Ultimate Box. So at some point I'll probably need to go for at least the Series 2 box. But we've at least got that open. So let's crack this. Let's pull the lid off here, and we'll see what's in here. Lifting that off cleanly, okay. And in here, We'll actually lift out the styrofoam for the time being. We'll get that out of the way. I'll use that for storage a little bit later. And the first feature film we're greeted by is the Hunter, the Killer from Tomorrow. Shop till you drop at Sunny Days Mall. How can you defeat a robot killer from the future? How about two? That's just what is in store for you on this fateful day at the mall. The Hunter is looking for a teenage kid known as the Savior. First, you'll have to deal with the Mark V model, then the Mark X model. Sunny Days Mall is a state-of-the-art facility with a shop for just about anything you can think of. Plus, it has 2 levels and a food court in the middle of everything. Just be careful not to stand too close to the railing. You wouldn't want to fall. I'm not going to crack each of these individual feature films open individually. Actually, I'm not going to crack them open here until I figure out how I want to organize everything. And look at that. There's actually, I didn't see this earlier, but there's actually space in the bottom of the box where you can see where each feature film is supposed to go. Next up, we've got Hell to Pay starring Razorface. Misery loves company in the hellscape. The denizens of hell are no stranger to pain and suffering, but you don't want any part of it. Razorface, a being of unspeakable evil, travels the shifting hellscape to deliver his love in the form of affliction and death. Manipulate the hellish maze so you can purge your afflictions and kill he who can't be killed before it's too late. Oh, that's going to be problematic. The next film we've got in here is starring Slayer, The Falconwood Files. Something strange is happening in Falconwood. Peculiar events, missing people, and kids on bikes. These are all things you'll find in the town of Falconwood. You and your friends will have to complete a mission to uncover what is really going on and discover the source of it all. Slayer, an interdimensional creature with a mind to destroy the town you know and love, is pulling helpless victims into the mirror dimension. Will you be able to save them and put an end to the horror before it's too late? Well, we'll find out when that film finally hits the channel. Next up, we've got The Merrick Murders, starring the Tormentor. Merrick Warehouse is closed for good. Traps, unsuspecting victims, and multiple murders. That's what happened on that fateful day at Merrick Warehouse. The state-of-the-art exit locks that were supposed to keep everyone safe held the victims inside, unable to escape. The Tormentor used devious and ingenious traps to teach her victims what took her too long to learn herself. Life must be cherished and valued at any cost. To live, to truly feel alive, sacrifices must be made. The next feature film we're greeted by in here is Don't Make a Sound, starring the Eyeless. Everyone loves Utopia. The rural town of Utopia is home to just a handful of people and a whole lot of dirt and rocks. Where the sand snakes burrowed to the surface to feed, there weren't a lot of targets to choose from. To make matters worse, the Eyeless, an extraterrestrial being sent to clear the Earth of its inhabitants, just so happened to arrive at the same time. With extrasensory hearing and lightning-quick agility, death will come quickly for anyone within earshot. I want to make sure that doesn't go falling. Those feature films don't go falling on me. Next thing we're greeted by is the cast and crew for Series 3. This we are going to crack open, though. Doesn't look like there's anything to get spoilerific with on this. There are a few things I'm going to need to track down for Final Girl, like the box of props, maybe the Season 2 mat set, and there's a couple more feature films from Season 2 I need to get a hold of. Then once I do all of that, the next question is going to be how I store everything. Because at that point I'll at least have all the feature films for Final Girl. And I need to slice this a little bit more. There we are. Okay. So let's see what we've got in the cast and crew box. Okay, looks like we've got the Terror from Destiny, which is the vignette expansion for Final Girl. 5 close friends should have died in a horrifying and bloody accident. Only because of a freakish premonition do they manage to avoid the accident and escape the Reaper's blade. but now they're dying one by one in increasingly bizarre accidents, and it has become clear that some power from beyond the grave, call it death, fate, or destiny, is taking the lives that were stolen from it. Can you solve the puzzle of who is fated to die next and get to them in time before the long arm of destiny claims yet another victim? If you can't, then there's no hope that you will survive this terror from destiny. This is a vignette expansion that can be used in combination with any location, one of which is included in each of the Final Girl feature film boxes sold separately, or together if you bought one of the season boxes. And as you can see, we've got the minis for all of the Final Girl cards, which we can actually store the cards. Oh, look at that. We do have space for all of the characters in there, where we can store those, and we can store the secret envelopes for all of the Final Girls. So that's very cool. I was just wondering about storage once I started cracking everything open. We've also got the bonus features, and holy crap, this is heavy. This we're also going to crack open and see what's in here. Once the plastic wrap decides it wants to come clean off. There we are. Okay. So now we'll open this up. Oh wow, we've got the feature film rulebook for Series 3. So that should be very cool. Looks like it's got all of the special rules that we need for everything in one shot. Also for the Hunter. So we've got all the special rules for the locations and the killers. That's actually very cool. We've also got the Lawrence scenario for Series 3. I'm not going to crack that open to protect from spoilers. And we've actually also got gruesome deaths for all the locations. So Sunny Days Mall, Hellscape, Falconwood, Merrick Warehouse, and yes, I'm holding some of these upside down, and Utopia. So very cool. Definitely like making this game a lot more thematic. This is actually a very good game when it comes to evoking the theme. So that's all the bonus features. And last in here, we've also got the special effects crate. So that's nothing on the back there, but we can crack this open as well and see what's in here. And once again, it does not want to cooperate with me. Here we are. So let's see what's in here. Special effects crate. We've got the guest stars. Oh, so we've got Paula. So it looks like we got the original two Final Girls in here for Paula and Jamie. I think I tracked them down as part of my Gen Con haul, at least the promo cards, but this gives me everything else. We've also got the Carolyn's Revenge character pack and the Grandma's Grudge character pack, so now I want to track that down. We've also got the guest stars miniatures. So we've got minis for each of the characters. I'm not going to crack everything open in here. And the Final Girl accessories. Which gives me, the supplemental game mat, which I might not need to track down. Tier markers, a dice tray, tier dice, and a tier board. Actually, on second thought, I am going to crack these open. So let's start with the guest stars. I've actually got several more feature films, so I think there might be another stream coming up later at some point where we'll go ahead and crack all of those open. I've got I've got at least 2 of the feature films from Season 2 that I picked up from my local game store. Plus, I may still pick the other ones up. And then I've got the 2 that I grabbed from Gen Con earlier this month. So let's take a look at the character pack in here. So this is the guest stars. Okay, looks like it gives me everything in here for those. So we've got the Carolyn's Revenge, Grandma's Grudge character packs. Then we've got, looks like, I don't know if those are extra action cards, looks like it. Vehicle action references. Then promos, then the promos. And the secret envelopes for all the final girls in here. What feature films from season 2 do I have? Let me look, Dave. I'm actually in the game room right now. I've got, let's see, those are the 2 I got from Gen Con. So one of these feature films might actually not be officially from season 2, but you'll probably tell me for sure. So the ones that are supposedly from season 2, I don't know if this one's actually officially from season 2, but I've got the North Pole Nightmare along with Into the Void. So I've got the Evomorph and Krampus. Like I said, I don't know if the North Pole Nightmare is one of the official season 2 feature films, but I'm pretty sure that that Into the Void is. So anyway, that's everything for the Guest Stars expansion. And that is not, well, let me see if I can, doing it that way brings it back. Let me put it all the way back in the box. Wait a minute. Oh, I just saw something else in here. Into the Void is season 2. That's what I thought. So I've actually got the Guest Stars rulebook in here as well. And it looks like it's explaining the secret envelopes and the vehicle action cards. Looks like we've got proxy items, so we can design items of our own. That's cool. Krampus, okay, so Into the Void is season 2, and Krampus is a one-off special. That's kind of what I started to think. We also got event cards that we can design. So looks like we can also design items and events. So that's actually a pretty cool thematic little touch. And Krampus, you think, is a one-off. That wouldn't surprise me at all. Christmas themed. Still pretty cool to have a Christmas themed. Pretty cool to have a Christmas themed adventure in the world. Now, if I can get this back in the box, if I can get this plastic insert back in the box for the guest stars, we'll be in business. Get it in, and I can close it. Well, it's not. Okay, looks like it'll at least fit in there. Then we'll take a look at the minis. And we've got a we've got the Guest Star Minis rules sheet, so this is just showing us who's who in here, which is also very cool. Okay, looks like we've got 2 crossover characters with Dark Quarter. I'm probably not going to track down Dark Quarter just to get those minis, although that was another game I was looking in. As I mentioned at the top of the video, I don't know if Dave or if either of the Daves you were here for the top of the video, but my original plan for a birthday gift for myself was Return to Dark Tower by Restoration Games, but I decided that, after doing some research, I decided that the tower was just going to be in the way, especially if I wanted to make it eventually content. But here's the accessories. We'll crack this open as well. So when this caught my eye instead, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go with this Season 3 Ultimate Box instead. And looking at it, I have a feeling I'm going to be a lot happier than I went with this than going with Dark Tower, with Return to Dark Tower. And the first thing we're greeted by is the Tier Dice rule sheet to maybe make this a little bit easier. Supposedly it's making the game a bit easier. Yeah, looks like it is actually going to make the game easier. So we've got alternate rules there. Then we've got the fortunate enough to receive Dark Tower as a gift from a friend of yours. Nice. Even looking at that game, it's like $200. And what's making me so hesitant about featuring it on the channel, here are the tier dice, by the way, along with the tier markers. What's making me so hesitant about featuring it on the channel is the tower is just going to be a giant, is essentially going to be a giant roadblock to seeing anything on the board. It's going to block off at least a quarter of the board. Here's the tier board, by the way, for that. And a dice tray, which odds are I'm not going to use, because I've got all of the dice tray built in with my dice tower already. But still, we can take our ever-tasty silica gel and get that out of here. You built a Lazy Susan so you can spin the board to fit the board, so you can spin it around as you play. Nice. I'm probably not that handy with my hands, so that's not something I'm going to worry about. And I just put everything in here in the box lid because I am a genius. It's not the first time I've ever done that, and it won't be the last time. Okay, this is the bottom. This thing does not want to close for me. Actually, okay, there we go. Had to squeeze it in a little bit. There we are. Now we'll start putting everything back in here. I might try to do a little bit of a hangout stream later I might try to do a hangout stream this weekend where we just sit down and crack all of these feature films for Final Girl, especially if I decide to track the rest of Season 2 down, which I'm very much thinking about doing that. Let's make sure we get this back in. Okay, perfect. Doesn't feel like it's closing all the way, but I think it's down as far as it's going to get. Holy cow, is that heavy. But we can bring that out of the way because, I'm going to put these back. I'm going to put the other feature films back. And B, I got another delivery in earlier this afternoon that was actually waiting for me when I got home that we're going to crack here on the channel. This was actually waiting for me when I got home from Noble Night, so let's see what we've got in here. And as usual, we're greeted by Void Fill. And the first thing we're greeted by in here, actually it looks like it's all packed pretty well together. So the first thing we're going to pull out is, okay, this is a little bit weird that it's have all of Season 1 feature films. Yes I do. Let's see, we've got Happy Trails Horror. What is that? Carnage at the Carnival, Frightmare on Maple Lane. And I just hid the other two, because I put some of my stuff from my local game store back down there. The Haunting of Creech Manor and Slaughter in the Groves. So yes, I do have all 5 feature films for Season 1. First thing we're greeted by in here, because I'm going to pull this out. I'm a little bit annoyed that this is wrapped in paper, but I'm probably not going to be completely surprised when I pull it out. Come on. Oh, wow. Feels like a Christmas gift trying to get Feels like a Christmas gift trying to get into this one. But what we're greeted by in here is the Return to Dark Tower fantasy role-playing game. This is by 9th Level Games, it looks like. A new evil has taken the Dark Tower. Will you rise to fight against this adversary and become a hero of the Four Kingdoms? Over the course of a campaign of quests and marches, you will fight fiendish monsters, raise allied armies, and unearth ancient lore, until you can marshal your forces to lay siege to the adversary and the Dark Tower itself. A thoroughly modern role-playing game based on the exciting board game Return to Dark Tower, powered by Polymorph and compatible with the award-winning Mazes fantasy role-playing. For 2 to 6 players, ages 13 and up if you're brave enough. We'll explore that at some point. We've also got the adversary screen for Return to Dark Tower, for the role-playing game. This high-quality Game Master screen for your Return to Dark Tower fantasy role-playing game sessions features all of the most often used charts and details for playing the game as the adversary, including Action Resolver, Rising Darkness, Phase Tracker, March Actions, Danger Claims, Consequences, and the table of contents for quick reference in the main rulebook. So very cool there. And we've also got, looks like Sword of the Brigand King, a zero prep introduction to fantasy role-playing. This was apparently part of Free RPG Day from 2024, I think. Looks like it's in very good shape, and it's already been boarded as well. So that's very cool. Definitely something new for the role-playing library. But after that small aside, that is everything in the box. Well, after a small aside into Noble Knight, that is everything in the box for the very heavy Season 3 Ultimate Box for Final Girl. Still got a lot of busy stuff on the channel tomorrow, or coming up this week. Tomorrow is actually my birthday, along with H.P. Lovecraft's birthday. So to celebrate both occasions, we're going to be dipping back into the role-playing library, and during Mythos Month, you know we're not going to leave a month without it. We are going to play a session of Call of Cthulhu by Chaosium tomorrow night. Thursday, we'll be back into the 2009-10 hockey season replay, as Block 37 will take us to Inside the Crease Hockey, and I have to remember what the arena is. Bear with me just a second. We will be at Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. for Block 37 and Inside the Crease Hockey, as the Tampa Bay Lightning will be in town to play the Washington Capitals. Saturday, Mystical Munchies will continue out of the recipes from the World of H.P. Lovecraft cookbook as we make the dessert, Meteor Cakes. And Sunday morning, the 2025 Summer of Lovecraft is winner take all, as we are playing Elder Sign against Yog-Sothoth. We are tied in the Summer of Lovecraft this year, 1-1. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone, and hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow.